Hello, everyone, and welcome back to New China. I'm Erica Pizzi, alongside my new co-host, Xu Chen.
Yeah, it's my first day.
Actually, you know what? You're already a veteran. You've already done a couple of...
Yeah, for the surviving the morning time, right?
Here we are. We've had a wonderful lunch here in Yanbian, the Korean Autonomous Prefecture. This is really amazing. You're talking about this city has about more than 1/3 of the population is the Korean minority, and you can totally feel that. You can taste it in the food. You can see it in the clothing. It is wonderful. Plus, we're here on a gorgeous day. The mountains, the air, the sky, everything's beautiful. And guess what we're doing today?
Oh, speaking of Korean, it's Korean food, kimchi right here.
We've got gloves because we're making kimchi. We have these three lovely ladies here showing us what to do. And of course, this is a traditional Korean cuisine. I love Korean food. Kimchi is literally one of my favorite things to eat. What do you think? You had it today at lunch?
I loved it. And actually, kimchi from this part of the town, part of the northeast China, is their specialty. And I have to point this out. This city borders the Korean Peninsula.
Yeah, there you go. That's why we've got the Korean minority here. Absolutely. All right, so we're gonna get a good look at here. Let's
You already have your gloves on, right?
Get in. I'm ready.
So how should we do this? So I'm going to ask her how that we should do it. 就是我们一般做怎么来做啊？就是我们这个菜是已经煮过的，对吗？
不是煮过的，这个是生的时候把这个白菜就腌，用盐水腌到12个到14个小时。
我先翻译一下。So just ask this lady how that we should prep our cabbages, and she told me that we need to soak this cabbage in salt water for like overnight, 12 to 14 hours, so it's get ready. It's kind of soggy right now. It's soft. It's not as fresh as, you know, it doesn't look like the fresh cabbage.
Well, that's the way you want it, though, right?
Of course, yeah.
That makes the best kimchi. And of course, this stuff in the middle, 太辣了。
这个太辣了。
对，这是辣的，它就是辣。
I'm saying it's very spicy.
Yeah.
对，这个辣椒是很辣的，就辣椒面必须得质量好一点的。完了就是蒜呐，它的比例是必须得配好，这样才能调料出来。
She said that we need a really good quality pepper, grounded pepper, and the ratio of garlic and pepper inside of this paste needs to be exact. I'm going to ask her what's the ratio there. 就是我们这个蒜和那个辣椒面这个比例是怎样的呢？
他们一般就是比例就是有配方的，不管是这个蒜进去，还有一个广辣椒进去，还有一个其他配料也再加进去。完了就比例是一般是这个辣椒比较稍多一点，6%左右吧。这样。
6%还是？
这是60%左右。
So it's like 60% of this paste is actually pepper, like grounded pepper, and for the rest it will be garlic and other spices. 除了大蒜还有什么别的香料吗？
还有的时候，各部门都不一样，就是每个家都有可能自己家的调料，洋葱啊也有这样的。
So we also put like a green onions,
各有风格，就说。
This sauce.
Okay.
Or actually, Erica, do you want to try how to like do this thing? 我们可以让我们来体验一下怎么去抹这个辣椒酱吗？
对，摸的时候就一片一片的摸，这一片一片。
Okay. So I scoop it up.
Yeah.
可以吗？Okay.
一片。
You just cover one.
Oh no, I didn't do it right. I've already not done it right. Okay, so I'm scooping and I go where?
对，一片。
You go to one leaf after one another. You don't do it all together. Yeah.
对，一片。
I get it. Okay.
Yeah. But how much should we put on this?
Is that too much?
I'm going to ask her. 就是我们这个要用多少呢？每次这个量？就是我们这个辣椒是我们想放多少辣椒放多少吗？还是
不是，就是一片，你摸，就是比如说这个一片都摸完了，就一片完了就磨，就这样。
Okay, so I'm just covering. I'm covering, and then I move on to the next leaf. Cover.
Yeah.
Okay. So she's helping me.
吃辣的人就稍多放一点辣椒。
You can put more if you prefer the spicy food.
Okay. I'm getting the hang of it now. This is going a lot better.
It is.
I don't know if I'm going to want to eat the kimchi that I actually make, but this looks good.
But after we put all the spice onto the cabbage, how long should we put it? 就是我们放了这个辣椒之后，我们要等多久？就是可以立刻吃了吗？
也可以直接吃，可是你就稍稍放一点更好吃。你可以现在可以吃了，
Ooh.
那个里面的。
We're actually after you just painted away the spice. You can eat it right
sorry,
after this. You don't really.
Okay.
But if
okay.
you let it ferment a little bit, it probably tastes better.
Okay, so let's ask her. You know, how
可以
off? I'm going to take a
可以这个现在
break.
可以吃了。
谢谢. I'm going to take a break from actually
Hold on a
making it. But I do have a question. How often do they eat kimchi? Is it every meal? Are you seeing kimchi in Korean cuisine?
就是我们是就大家是很常吃这个。
对，我们经常就每餐每顿都有
Every
这个
meal.
必须得
Every
有
meal. Every meal. All right then.
每顿每餐必须得有。
他可以吃。Do you want to try it now?
你尝看。
I'll do your work. Yeah.
Yep, I do. Yep, here we go. I made this and I'm
你尝尝，
I like spicy. Okay.
辣点，
Well, I want to try Erica's one. Yeah.
给他。
小一点就好，
小一点
小一点。
I did a good job.
Yeah, you did.
I did a good job. It's really good. 好吃，非常好吃。
很好吃，辣不辣
因？为能吃辣。I
辣
love spicy.
She won.
It's
I
really
really
good.
like it.
But there's more to kimchi, right?
Is there? Tell me about it.
Oh, there is. Let me show you. 好，谢谢各位姐姐。Let's
谢谢。
move over here.
Ah, yes, yes.
Oh, I want to show our viewers something. This fancy thing.
It's fancy.
Do you know what this is?
I do know what this is.
What it is?
We're looking at some rice
Cake.
cake,
Yeah, rice cake.
rice cake cut up, right? They
Yeah,
cut
it's
it up.
cut up
All right, all right.
rice cake. And I believe they have grounded kidney beans powder and sugar on top.
Oh, that's sugar on
yeah,
top.
sugar on top.
Oh.
So sugar crystals. Do you know how to make this?
I want to see.
So let's do
Let's
it.
show everybody. Check it out.
就是我们这个怎么做米糕啊？你可以给我们演示一下吗
Here we go.
Yep.
Everybody move.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Ooh.
So obviously we are looking at a rice-based dough here that they're working with. They're kneading it with those hammers.
Oh, and the rice already steamed, so it's cooked rice. And speaking of Northeast China, you just passed through Wuchang a few days ago. Rice
I
here is
did,
really
I did.
good.
And I got to have some for lunch, and it was fantastic. But it really is amazing when you see that they start off with just, you see the rice,
Yeah.
and now you see every grain, and by the end of this, they're going to have this amazing dough that you
Yeah.
really never knew that it started from rice.
Yeah.
Cameraman better be careful, he's going to get hit with a mallet.
So I think it's quite clever to think about these traditional ways because they put water on their hammer thing. So
To keep it from sticking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's smart, right?
Yes. Okay, this is the hard work now. It's about to really... Look at how many people are working on this.
They're like 4, right?
Yeah. I have so many questions for them when they're done.
Do you dare to put your hands in there?
Absolutely not. They got to make it just so. So that when they start hammering this rice,
Yeah.
it gets to the exact consistency they need, right?
I think they are trying to use the hammer to ground it to smaller pieces. So
Before they start hammering it.
Yeah. And somebody can make it sticky, the starch from the rice.
I gotta be honest, my mouth is still a little bit on fire from the kimchi.
Oh wait,
Just a
that
little.
is spicy. Look how sticky it is right now,
Oh,
right?
yeah. That's why they gotta get the water on there.
Yeah. Are they going to? Oh, they're going to.
Here it is. Yes, that's good stuff.
Do you want to try it out?
Are we going to give this a go? Really?
Let's do it. Yeah, let's
How
do it.
difficult this is going to be?
I don't think it's very
Okay,
difficult.
okay,
Yeah.
let's have them do it one more time.
Sure, yeah.哎，我们来简单来问问你们，可以吗？就是我们做这个大概要多久啊？就比如我们
I
要
think we're going to
敲
try
啊
to give this a
什么的
go.
啊，就是要不 because they only speak Korean, they are Chinese Korean. I need my translator. Like I need you.
We need you.
Yeah, and this is, by the way, Miss Cui from the local village, and because all the villagers here they primarily speak Korean, which that I don't understand. So please help us to translate a little bit. 就是我们现在想问他们一下，就这个过程大概要多久？我们一会儿再敲，一会儿再敲。我们一会儿
这
再敲。
个过程吧，我们把这个姜泥先泡30个小时，以后呢，在我们锅里蒸。蒸完了以后，就是蒸大概是20分钟左右。
So they actually need to use this. They need to first soak this rice in water for 30小时啊。30 hours.
Hours?
Yeah, 30 hours. It's over a day. It's almost 2 days, right? 1.5 day. And then steam it, and before they actually start to ground it and hammer it. 但就这个敲这个过程要多久啊？
敲这个过程吧，就是大概是敲。最起码敲50下吧，打50次才能那个。
Oh, they need to hammer like for like 40 to 50 times
Oh,
to do the
wow.
hammering thing.
Well, can I give it a go? I
我们
wanna
也
try.
我们感受一下
Yeah?
可以吗 Yeah, let's do it. Yeah.
Okay.
What are the help us? 就是我们有什么
Ask him
需要就是有些技巧，我们怎么来啊？
没有什么技巧，对啊，技巧。
Ooh. Just
Okay.
just hit
okay.
it.
Just go after it.
Go at it.
这一路马上走。
可以。
你先打吧，你先打吧。
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Oh God.
Ooh, is it heavy?
Okay, that was good. Oh God. Okay.
这里水。
There it is. See, I did a bad job because I didn't have water. Everybody, that's what happened. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, let's do it.
Oh, that's hard. Okay. Okay. Okay.
Ooh.
Okay.
Hey.
Oh, that's a good one.
哎呀哈。
Okay.
Ooh.
Listen, this is harder than it looks. A lot harder than it looks. Hey, hey.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh. Good.
All right, I'm breaking a sweat.
That's a
Breaking a sweat.
workout,
Breaking a
isn't
sweat.
it? That's a
What?
workout.
You know, you should get in on that.
Yeah,
It's not easy.
Is it heavy?
It is heavy.
Ooh.
See?
Yeah, it's pretty heavy.
It's
Yeah,
heavy.
it's pretty heavy. Yeah.
I've had a bit of a
I just
workout.
want to ask, what were they were shouting? 他们在刚才喊的时候是在喊什么呢？
就是用劲儿啊，用劲儿啊，
Oh,
就
just
是
work hard.
Work hard. Got it.
Work
Got
hard.
it.
加油加油，就是
Yeah,
要
yeah,
用
yeah,
劲儿
yeah,
的
yeah.
意
Okay.
思。
Yeah. But do you want to try some of that?
Let's try it.
Yeah.
Let's try it.
So that's the hard work, as I mentioned.
That's the hard work, and then
30
we've got-
minutes to soak in the water.
That's right. And then this is what comes out at the
Yeah.
end, right?
Try it.
Oh.
Ooh.
Let's
Come
get
over
back
here.
over here. We don't want to get hit with the hammer per se. All right, are we giving this a go?
Yeah, let's. I'll just use our hands. I think.
Hey.
Yeah. It's sweet.
Oh. Oh, it's really sticky. Chewy, chewy.
It's not soggy, is it?
You just dipped it.
No,
That
I
was
doubled
cute.
him, I'm sorry.
Okay, that was cute.
Oh, it's really. Actually, it's pretty good.
Okay, it's really good. Mm-hmm. It's chewy. Now we can't do our jobs because we can't talk. Okay. We need a minute.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's very, very sticky.
Okay. So let's spin around here and. They keep going here, so it's good to watch that. Soon they're going to be kind of at the end of the product here.
Yeah.
Wow, that's chewy. It's really stuck in my mouth now.
Is.
Okay, but very good. We love it.
Yeah.
We've got so much more Korean culture that we're going to be showcasing here in this amazing little village. We've had amazing food.
Oh, we did. Oh, the lunch.
We've learned how, they got a good rhythm now.
Yeah.
They got a good rhythm now.
Better than you, right?
Yeah, way better.
Oh, but you did a really good first try, right?
Listen. You needed to try it. It's super hard. Okay, so coming up, we're going to show you some of the style of dress that they've got going on here. We're going to talk more about the village and how they sustain here. I mean,
of course, yeah.
This is part of the autonomous region here, part of the autonomous prefecture, as it's called. So we're going to learn so much more. But for right now, let's go ahead and send it over
to Southeast, our colleagues.
Yes.
They're going to speak with regular people, and they're going to learn about how life have changed over the past 70 years. Right?
Absolutely. We've got Lindy, right?
Yes.
Lindy and Yang Chengqi, who's also on his first day with us here on the road show. All right, guys, let's send it over to you.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much to our Northeast colleagues, Erica and Xu Mengqi. Thank you very much for that. Of course, you're now with us here in the Southeast. We are in Zhejiang province, touring around the town of, or the city rather, of Wenzhou. As you can see, many buildings around us on these streets here of Wenzhou. It is actually a manufacturing hub, well known for textiles, among other things.
Yes, Wenzhou is in fact a manufacturing powerhouse of China. Because it's on the East Coast, very easy for importing and exporting. So a lot of manufacturing industries flourished since the 1980s, earning China the name the world's factory.
That's right.
But in fact, this is China's center of leather industry. Since as early as the 1920s, it is the shoe capital in China. A lot of China's shoes are made here. By 2017, the shoe industry in the city is already a $14 billion industry, and Wenzhou exported some 500 million pairs of shoes in 2018. That's impressive.
Fascinating. It is indeed, right? Yeah. Well, of course, when you say a phrase like the factory of the world, it certainly conjures up images of many people slaving away behind desks and factories or whatever it might be, making all these products that have been exported around the world. Let's give you an inside look at what factory life is really like. Of course, our reporter Xu Mengqi is at the Kangnai shoe factory and brings us a closer look. What do you have for us, Mengqi?
Hey guys, I'm now at a shoemaking factory in Wenzhou City, which is known as China's capital of leather shoes, because most of the country's leather shoes are made here. And actually, the city has also developed an international reputation for its competitiveness in the leather industry. And actually where we're now at is a workshop that's almost working at the end stages of the making of leather shoes. And you could see these are all from cowhides, because the factory says most of the shoes they make are from real leather, genuine leather. But Wenzhou, the city in general, has, they make both leather, genuine leather and synthetic ones. So we're gonna make a tour of the factory today to give you an idea of what the process for making leather shoes are, obviously, and also to give you an idea of what China's factory workers' life are really like, because we've heard so much about China's manufacturing. It was once the world's factory, and it's been upgrading. Once its growth model was mostly relying on cheap labor, but now it's upgrading and et cetera, et cetera. So we've heard a lot about Chinese manufacturing. And sometimes people have the wrong impression that all Chinese factories are sweatshops. So that's why we're, at this shoemaking factory today, and And to give you an idea of what a real Chinese factory looks like, it might not be representative, but it's one example at least. Right, so as I said, this is almost the end stages of the shoemaking assembly line, and as you can see from here, what people are doing is 你好，请问您是在做什么？
做鞋，
这个是个什么工序？
垂鞋工序。
Okay, so you can see the guys hammering here. And I was told actually on this part, people are working on the uppers of the leather shoes. Let's maybe just take a walk around and see. 您好，请问您这是在做什么？这边？
翻里，翻里，然后解里，翻里和解里。
Okay, so this is also still the upper part. People are using scissors and machines, so some by hand, some by machine, cutting and making stitches or patterns of the upper. Right here, the other. So all of this part is about the uppers of the leather shoes, and from here. Hi guys, I'm back. I heard there was some signal problem, so I apologize for that. And now we are at the shoemaking factory in Wenzhou, which is like the capital of China's leather shoes. And this is like a final assembly line for, you can see some trimming here. And this is still the upper of the shoes, and people are trimming it. I guess over there you could see you could see them stitching together the uppers and the sole. Still the stitching part. Okay, right here you can see they're putting on a glue coat on the sole so that the uppers and the soles could, you know, be stitched and glued together. 您好，您这边是在刷胶是吧？ Okay, so you can see this guy is, sorry, this lady here is still working on the glue, right? Okay, this is a bit different. 您好，您做的是什么？
固定。
就是把它拼接在一起是吧？
对。
You can see what he does here is putting together the sole and the uppers of the shoes. 您一天能够就是拼个多少双 ？How many shoes do you do every day?
一天大概几百来双吧，一个人。
几百来双是吗？ A few hundreds. You can see he's actually working quite hard at it and doesn't even have time to talk to us. And that's quite interesting because Chinese manufacturing has gained its competitive advantage in the world because of the large number of labor force who are quite hardworking, to be honest. And today is actually, I understand there are a lot of reports of Chinese factories being, all sweatshops, but this is not really what I see here. I mean, this place looks kind of neat, I would say. It's rather neat. And honestly, I don't smell anything here, contrary to what people might assume. And there's fans everywhere, so it's not really hot. You can see people putting on masks, although not all of them.
Ah?
您这边是什么工作？
我拖院头的。
什么？
我拖院头的。
I didn't really get it. OK, 是把这个放在里边是吧？你可以展示一下吗？把这个拿出来。I guess this is still okay. He's showing us. So guys, this is how leather shoes are made.
把箱子拿出来。
把这个拿出来 Okay. So this model, this thing here is for the shaping of the shoes, and now they're taking this out. And right there, you can see it's approaching the end of the assembly line. people are lacing it here, right? And okay, all right. So, we're now in this shoemaking factory, and as I said, there are all kinds of reports about what Chinese factories really look like, and a lot of them not always true. There are assumptions, there are myths and stereotypes. So today I actually have the vice president of this Kangnai group, the company, the shoemaking company, to join us and take questions from us. So if you have any questions, just shoot. And right, so Mr. Wu Shengnen, Wu Zong, 对吧? Okay. So Mr. Wu Shengnen, the vice president of Kangnai shoemaking group. Right. So I have a few questions for him, and I'm sure you might have some as well. So make sure you do ask. And I think we have just had a comment coming. Let's see. Right. We have one of you say this. That's great shoes. Exactly, because I think this company is actually at the middle and upper end of the whole industry, and they're not really making the cheap, bad quality ones. 刚刚有一个我们的观众评论说你们的鞋子看起来不错。
那是，因为在这么美丽的车间生产出来的鞋子肯定不错。
Okay, so Wu says this is a beautiful workshop. Well, I will say I kind of agree to that, but we'll get more to it. 就是确实感觉还不错，就是没有闻到任何味道什么的。但是这个工厂就是有多少人？这车间有多少人 ？Like how many people are there in the workshop？
接近1000人。
这个车间有1000人。
1000人，大概包括一个大的层面，有1000多平方，啊。
Okay, so this whole space is more than 1,000 kilometers. 1,000 square meters in area, and there are around 1,000 people, staff working here. 1000多个员工，1000还是1000多？1000以内。1000以内 ，okay, less than 1,000. Right. So, how many? I mean, these people are all wearing uniforms, obviously. How many hours do they work? 就是他们一般工时有多长？
工资吗？
工时。
工时是吧？一天大概在8到10个小时吧。
So on average, 8 to 10 hours every day.
10个小时左右。10个。
Around 10 hours. 今天我们知道其实是周日。I mean, I'm asking this because I have to. This is Sunday, and these people are still working. So we know that Chinese are hardworking people, and people like to earn more salary. And they've gained their competitive edge for this reason. But tell us why Chinese people are so hardworking. 就为什么大家会愿意就是周日还上班这样？
实际上昨天有休息了，因为我们每个星期都会有休息。那么今天呢，因为接下来的订单也确实比较忙，所以大家觉得还是要把订单赶出来吧。
So they're saying yesterday they've had their day of rest, and now they have a lot of orders. So people would want to give to make the deadline.
如果是按照传统的，应该是今天休息，昨天上班，后来我们做了一下调整。
你们一周只休1天是吧？
一个星期休息1天。
So by routine they take one day off every week, and it should be actually Sunday usually, but this week they've kind of like alternated it, and so yesterday people took the day off. Right. I'm going to say something like it's obvious that these people here are quite young, so that's kind of what I observed. 我看着就是好像都是年轻人为主，就大概都平均多少岁 ？Like what's their age on average?
25岁，25周岁。
Okay, 25 on average. 真的很年轻。Right, because what we heard was like, there's the Chinese labor force they're like there's low cost in terms of labor, and but mostly it was with the older generation who would like to work overtime for more, but these days with the young people, I guess it's different. 现在的这个 like China is undergoing this structural change in its worker demography as well. 就感觉现在工人的这个层级也有变化，就是更新了，有换代了。他们有什么不一样的需求吗？
对，因为原来的那个打工的 可能现在都回家了，啊，年轻的一代呢，现在又在这个我们东部沿海地区开始，但是现在他们的技术比父辈可能更高，啊，而且他们的要求多元的文化的这种融合啊，可能对于我们企业在管理各方面也会提出一些新的要求。
So basically, he has said, there's an upgrade, the new generation taking up the labor force, and they are putting forward new requests, which is challenging their management as well. 就对你们的管理有什么新的这个？
所以你要配备更多的符合他们需求的这个生活设施啊、文化娱乐活动啊等等。所以这样的话呢，就会让他们满足他们多元的文化需求，因为你也知道。
Hold on. So 我为观众翻译一下。So give me time to translate. So Wu says, with the new generation of labor force, people want 生活设施是吧？
New 多元的文化需求，它会有。
They have more cultural needs.
对生活配套的需求，综合的一个需求。
And amenities. So like what?
这个比他们的父辈会要求更多。
So there are more requests compared to their older generation.
对，除了领一些工资之外，他们可能还希望有一些这个平台能够有锻炼。
I think the living quarters of these factory workers.
所以我们就围绕他们的这些需求。
Okay, we're okay. We've been moving, and I was told we kind of lost the signal again. I think. All right. Okay, now we're back. Apologize for the poor signal again. So now we are heading to the living quarters of the factory workers. 你们这边刚刚说有2000多工人 there are
对，2000多个工人，有2000多工人。
About 2000 workers.
生产车间，你看那一块是我们员工的生活区。
Okay, so on our left side was what we just saw was the assembly lines, the workshops, and over there is their living quarter.
有1000多人。
How many people actually live in the dorms?
1000多个人。
Okay, more than 1,000 people live in the dorms.
1200左右。
Okay, around 1,200. So that's, I mean, we get this impression that Chinese factory workers, most of them are migrant workers. And so with this factory, you could see more than half of its staff are living in dormitory. So 这边是 I guess they're all migrant workers as well. 他们都是外来的员工吗？
大部分都是来自浙江省以外的。
Okay, so outside of the Zhejiang province.
各地全中国各地。
我们刚刚有谈到一些就工人的这个现在要求不一样啊。
对。
您可以再结合他们那个
对
他们的那个宿舍是现在跟以前比有什么不一样吗？
现在我们都要准备夫妻房，而且还要准备1室1厅的，有时候他们小孩过来还要准备2室1厅的，所以在我们的这个厂区里面。
Give me some time to translate. So it was quite interesting to hear that Wu was saying, they have dormitories prepared for couples, and also if their kids are coming, then they would have a 如果有小孩是
小孩，我们还要每年的夏天都有夏令营，给他们这个小孩子有活动娱乐的地方。
Okay, so they hold summer camps for the kids in the summer sometimes, and there's studios, dormitories for their staff.
然后这里你看，
但是不是所有的都是夫妻房吗？
所有，我们每个夏天有200多个孩子，就几乎
小孩
啊。
So every year in the summer they hold summer camps, and there are like hundreds of kids. He said 200.
我们这里有200多对。200多。
And there are more than 200 couple workers here. You could see there are like this is actually quite like a school. You have the sporting facilities and honestly, what I think interesting is these cars. I was told, I asked, these cars all belong to the workers here. Well, I don't have much more time to show you the factory, and I just quickly to show you, over there is the canteen of the staff, and here there are clubs where the reading clubs where the staff could read, the library, and there's also like a mini gym in there, right? So due to time limit, I really couldn't show you more, but I guess you've kind of get a glimpse of this factory at least. It's as I'm saying, it's I guess what people assume about all Chinese factories being sweatshops and people working in quite poor conditions isn't entirely true. And especially as China's economy is undergoing a structural change and the service sector is now booming and people have more choices other than working in factories. So that's kind of pushing factories to reform as well to provide better conditions. Right, so I guess that's just a really short trip to a tour to show you what this shoemaking factory in Wenzhou looks like. So let us know what you think, and especially about Chinese factory workers' life, and leave us a comment. Right.
5, 4.
Well, thank you so much, Mengqi, for bringing us this inside look into the operations of a shoe factory, but more especially the lives of factory workers. We know, of course, that factory workers have been the driving force, really, of China's manufacturing boom. And for more on that, let's now bring in our guests. We're joined by Professor Zhang Gong from the University of International Business and Economics, as well as Professor Li Boqiang from Xiamen University. Professor Li, let me start with you. We saw a little bit there of what the lives are like of factory workers at this particular factory, talking about working 6 days a week, 10-hour days. Is this the average life of a factory worker in East China?
Well, it's a difficult question. Let me answer yes first.
Okay.
Yes, you are living in the city, right? You need to mix up. You're walking on the street. And for example, we just finished our lunch in a dining hall, and that's a typical Wenzhou food actually. So you are living in one city, and you really need to mix up with all the locals, workers as well as non-workers. The most important, your boss is local, so you got to get used to local style. So yes, they are quite, mixed up with the local. But to say no, I think that that's slightly different. The people coming to work for the shoe factories are typical those coming from rural provinces, lower income, less education. And they feel temporary. They come in here, for example, they want to find a job, they want to have high pay, shoe better not too difficult to make, okay? They don't want overtime, and they want a good boss. And maybe include room and board, that would be better. In other words, they came here, try to make some money, to put it this way, to support the family better, or to get married. And usually you can see there's one going home, a guy going home, pay for the wedding, and come back with two. And now they possibly work in the same factory, maybe not, maybe work in the same factory. And then they talk with the children, and they send the children back. And they still working in the factory, trying to make enough money to build a house to support that. And this has become more and more social problem for China, and that catch a lot of attention recently. The second difference is that they feel somewhat lower compared to locals, because as I mentioned earlier, they're coming from poor provinces, and less education, and also because they feel it's really not compatible. But one thing funny is that they're not envy of local. Is that they say that local need to work very hard to buy their apartment. They don't have to. So there's good news for them. So the to answer the question, yes or no, but the situation has been changing. In the last few years, the government began to build, to tie up the regulations of the factories, private or state-owned, to have better benefits, higher salary. Yes. So I think that it might be more equal and possibly more permanent from now on, gradually improve. But unfortunately, they have to work hard to pay for the problem. Yeah.
Now here's a question for you, Professor Gong. Now labor wages are rising overall in China, and many factories are upgrading too with automation, right? So with this macroeconomic trend continuing in the future, will these workers' livelihood and lifestyle change in the years to come?
I think so. I think especially for industries like the shoe industry we've just visited, labor cost holds still a large percentage of total cost, and the industry is extremely susceptible to the rising wage level here in China. So I think the answer, as you said, is to automate things, to use machine to replace people. The good news is that these industry can still stay in China to be competitive. The bad news is what happens to these workers. They get left behind, and they have any skills to do for other things. I know, for example, I know a factory in Hunan province. The factory is in the business of making artificial hair, the wig. And it's a very labor-intensive industry. And the boss told me, I ran into him a couple of months ago at a conference. He told me that the reason he's still staying in China is just to keep some jobs for the people who have been with him for over 20 years. These are people in the late 40s, early 50s. They have no other skills. They're laid off. They have nothing nowhere else to go. So he's maintaining this little operation just to keep the jobs for these people. He's not making much money. This business is wholly moving out of China. So these are the kind of challenges I think our country has to deal with. It's we can't just leave behind these people. These are the workhorse for China's industrialization. These are the people who have been working very hard to make this country to the current status right now. So we can't just leave them behind.
Right. Thank you, Professor Gong, for your analysis. Now I hope we all have a glimpse of what the life of a typical worker in Wenzhou's shoe factory is like. Now with that, we're handing it back over to our colleagues in the Northeast. Guys?
Thank you so much, Yang Chengxi and Lindy. Look at me right now. So I have a brand new outfit. So it is the traditional Korean outfit. I just got dressed a few minutes ago. But where's Erica? Let's find her. Come over with me. Ooh, check that out. So pretty.
Hello,
wow.
Thank you. And look at you. Quite handsome.
Yeah, I love
Quite
it.
handsome.
But just look right there, because this nice lady's helping Erica to tie the knot.
You bet. Let's talk more about this, because this is the signature Korean tie,
Yes,
right?
it
It's
is.
quite beautiful and quite different, and there's a whole process to it.
It
So
is.
let's hear all about it.
我们这个讲这个节嘛，有哪些讲究吗？为什么往这边啊？
我们这个讲这个接是一个是就是那个怕这个我们裙子掉了不行，好好系上；还有一个是这个往上，这个是就是始终往上就是向上的意思。
So let's translate first. So first, the knot is of course to help that we don't, get undressed, to secure the
clothing.
clothes. Yeah, and then look at that point. Like the knot is kind of pointing upwards.
This one.
So it actually means like good spirit, so that we can work hard and what else?
还有一个是什么呢？我们这个朝鲜的裙子长嘛，我们一般右手干活，这个左手呢就是把这个整个的这个裙子这样拿着这样做。我们一般女人就干活的时候方便干活，所以这个把这个。 左边这么系，所以你这么拿着，干活的时候右手方便干活。
So because the dress is pretty long, and when you're trying to do some chores and housework, you probably need to kind of tighten your dress. Yeah, push it to the side, and so the kind of the drips off it. It's easy for you to put it aside.
Oh, I see. Okay, that's why it's high up and stuff.
Yes.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about why we're dressed up here. Remember, we are in the Korean Autonomous Prefecture, Yanbian.
Yeah.
We're talking about the influence and the cultural diversity, particularly because we're so close to the Korean border. So
Yeah.
that's why we are dressed in traditional Korean clothing. And just to show you, these clothes came off these racks.
Yeah.
And this is how this sort of area makes some tourist money, right?
Yes, of
because
course, yeah.
tourism is what draws people in. Then tourists are like, okay, I'd like to dress up and take some pictures.
Yeah.
And so that's what they do. And so our clothing came from in here.
Yeah.
We need a picture.
Of
Look
course,
at us.
yeah. But anyways, I know our colleagues in Northwest has something more for us.
You bet.
So let's toss to Chang'an and the Taoyuan and let them to take over and to have more stories about that part of China.
That's right.
万一出问题全是你责任，怎么弄？
Hi, from the southeast. We're driving from
We're in the southwest.
I'm sorry, guys. I never got that one right.
She's got so much on her mind right now. But there, you're looking at the wonderful southwest portion of China as we zip through Sichuan County.
That's right. We're driving from the city of Ya'an to the city of Chengdu, which is the provincial capital. I'm really excited right now because Chengdu is like my second hometown.
Exactly. And we also have an addition to our thing, but we'll get to about that later.
Okay.
We're going to be talking about happiness in China. To a lot of people who live outside this nation, they perceive it as people who live in the rural areas as having a very difficult life, therefore not a lot to enjoy. And those living in city are pretty much handicapped by traffic jams, the pressure to do well at work, and also pollution. But there is a lot of happiness in China in all of these cities. And one that has vaulted to the top of the list is Chengdu, where we're going to. And to me, it's interesting that Beijing and Shanghai have kind of been pushed out. What do you think that says?
Well, it says something about the pace of big cities. Just to give you one simple example, I'm originally from Beijing, right? So I'm used to just push the door close button on the elevator once you get on. But in Chengdu, nobody does that. That's the first thing that surprised me when I got to the city, when I moved to the city more than 3 years ago, actually.
It's amazing. Well, let's bring our two experts, our guests in to shed some more light on this. As always, Victor Gao, thank you very much. And Chen Jiaha, again, thank you. Chen, let me start with you because you've lived and spent time in a lot of cities. What is the attraction to this region?
Well, the attraction of the region is definitely the leisure life you have here, as Taoyuan has actually explained. Because if you go to Shanghai or Beijing, I mean in Shenzhen, people are so rushing. I actually took several taxis in Shenzhen city. Almost all of them are like racing cars, you know. It's like just driving through all the cars, keep on accelerating. But in Chengdu, people are really relaxed. That's probably because this region is not close to coastal areas. They are not close to international trade for a long period of time in the past hundreds or thousands of years. So they got used to their local life. This life has remained in China for like 3,000 years, the agricultural life. So this habit is actually embedded into the society, and people just got used to that. So when you are doing business with people in Chengdu, they don't really chase efficiency. I was actually working on an IPO project that's 11 years ago in Chengdu, and asked the secretary of the company, can you bring a contact list of the company's leaders, about 20 people there. She took about 2 weeks to get that. So
Right.
the business efficiency is much lower here compared with coastal areas, but the lives are just much easier.
Xiaohe, it's very interesting that you said lifestyle in Chengdu has remained pretty much the same way for thousands of years. It's been a leisure city back in ancient times. It's China's leisure capital right now. I actually have a fun fact to share with you guys about Chengdu City. Shortly after I got there, people kept saying, Chengdu province, Chengdu province. I didn't know what that meant because it's a city within Sichuan province. Chengdu is actually on its own. It's like it's in China's less developed southwest, but the economy is doing great, and it's also got a great, leisure activities. So it's on its own. It's Chengdu province. That's how locals joke about that city. But Victor, we talked about it a couple of days ago. You actually purchased property in Chengdu.
Indeed.
Why Chengdu? Why did you choose that?
Well, I would say Chengdu is very much attraction because of several reasons. Great food, great Sichuan food, great weather. It's not too hot. It's not too cold, for example. Great humidity. Lots of water of all kinds. And also, historically speaking, if you look at the Sichuan Basin, it's surrounded by big mountains. So the basin area, the plain area, is considered more or less as a kingdom among a big empire, for example. So people gradually have this mentality that if I live in Chengdu, it's the capital of a kind of independent kingdom among a much bigger united country, of course. So they normally would have this very unique cosmos and philosophy of, oh my God, I'm living in the capital city of Sichuan, and as you mentioned, Chengdu province, for example. And I think this gives the local people a special way of knowing the world, knowing the cosmology, for example. They have their own philosophy in a sense. And also, it has very rich cultural heritage. That's amazing.
Capital of Chinese dynasties for how many
Absolutely, several thousand years.
Yes,
that's the amazing
And it's also
thing.
called the land of abundance.
Absolutely.
Heavenly kingdom.
Absolutely.
But it's still a large city, maybe not by Chinese standards, but by the outside world. And as you see these images as we continue to drive, it's pretty open here. We're still an hour and a half or so away from there. But it doesn't mean, Mr. Chen, that people aren't successful, aren't business oriented. As Tao Yuan said, she knows people don't hit the elevator buttons. I would be the guy walking casually toward the elevator while she's smashing the button to shut the door. But people are, just like everywhere else in China, thinking about the future.
Yes, I mean, one thing interesting about business is that efficiency will bring profit to individuals, but if a whole society is too efficient, it does not bring overwhelming success to the whole society. If you look at Shanghai, I mean, people in Shanghai are really working hard. They work much harder than people in Chengdu. But the property price is pushed to 10 times or 15 times of Chengdu. That doesn't mean a thing because the property is the same property. So if you look at the development of European countries, I mean France, Switzerland, people there don't work as hard as people in New York. But the per capita GDP is pretty close. So that's why you see when people in Chengdu are not working that efficiently compared with Shanghai or Shenzhen. Obviously, efficiency is only like 30% over here. But their economy is still pretty well developed. Although they don't have a very high property price. Their property price is about 1/20th or 1/30th of Hong Kong. But that doesn't mean the living standard is dropped off. I actually studied happiness of economics when I was in the UK, and my professor was Evner Offer at Orsos College of Oxford University. And one of the very important things is that with the development of economic level, after the per capita GDP passes like 10 or 20,000 US dollar, your happiness does not increase with more money. So that's the way Chengdu is.
Right. So, Sean, this is obviously going to be your first time in the city, but looks like the three of us have had great Chengdu experiences. Guys, let's just list out a couple of things that we love about Chengdu. So there's Mahjong.
There's a huge
Tea
amount of
house.
mahjong.
Tea houses.
But explain tea houses, because to people outside of this region, it's not like you sit in a coffee house, plug in your Mac, and sip tea and read.
Right.
Well, in Britain, for example, you normally go to a pub to kill a lot of time. In Chengdu, you just go to the tea house.
But the tea houses are so much different than like Starbucks style coffee shops,
Absolutely.
right?
Tea house is where old friends gather, for example, and they talk about anything or about nothing. They just stay there for hours, for example, drinking some tea, packing some sunflower seeds, for example, and then the whole world comes their way. And then their philosophy prevails, for example. I would say what impressed me by people in Chengdu is their wealth is much more than financial assets or physical assets, for example. Wealth includes spiritual satisfaction, for example. Wealth includes a composure of the mind. Wealth also includes a certain level of confidence and humor.
And family
That's
time.
very important. A family time, of course. So I think that really makes people in Chengdu and sometimes people in Sichuan in general standing very much out. And it's their resilience and their determination and their philosophical strength which eventually will prevail.
You know, I think we're getting ready to head to
showcase
show
our
back.
latest,
Okay, here's our latest thing we have picked up for our centerpiece here. This obviously is a panda, and here in Sichuan province, we just left the Yan Giant Panda Research Center. Wonderful time we had there, treated extraordinarily well by our host, but We knew we were going to see a panda, so now we have it here as well.
And we also got a panda base in Chengdu as well, so we also have the pandas. We just have it all.
Okay. Well, that does it for us here.
Let's go back to the northeast. Did I get it right this time?
Yes, you did.
Okay.
1 for 2, 50%.
Guys, take it away from us.
All right, thank you, Sean and Tao Yuan. And we are back in our regular clothes.
Yes, we'll just get out of those
but
beautiful...
Those beautiful clothing,
They
though.
are,
Really,
yeah.
I really loved it. And it's so interesting that tourists can come and for just 15 yuan can get a taste, get a sense of what it's like to put on some traditional Korean clothing. We are now in the central square here, and we want to narrow it down a little bit because even Yanbian's a big city. We've talked about more than a third of the population is the Korean minority. However, this particular place, exactly where we are standing,
is called a...
even different.
Yeah, it's called a Jingdalai village. Jingdalai is actually the name of a flower. So in this village, almost 100% of the village population actually is Korean Chinese.
Some even don't speak Mandarin, right?
Yeah,
right.
And of course, the local economy, as we have mentioned, relies a lot on the tourism. And also the local agriculture industry is also very important.
Right, so let's dig into that a little bit more.
Sure,
We've got the perfect person joining us now. We have our esteemed guest here, Party Secretary. Go ahead and introduce him.
And this is Jin Guangzhi, the Party Secretary of the Jingdalai village. And so we're going to
talk about tourism here. We want to ask you how much does tourism drive the economy here?
金书记啊，我们这个旅游业在当地的这个经济的一个占比有多少呢？
占比现在80%以上，当时这个村是2010年7月28号发大水以来啊，这个村是都是异地搬迁过来的移民，这地冲没了，房子冲没了，到了重建以后呢，主要是靠旅游发展。当时10年的收入呢，平均收入呢5000块钱，到现在涨到目前为止呢，人均收入23000元，现在达到了。
我先翻译一下。So, Secretary Jing just told us so the tourism takes up over 80% of the village economy.
That's
and
huge,
it's a very important background. It's like in 2010, this area was basically wiped out by a flood. So all the villagers are actually immigrants from surrounding villages, and then they renamed the new village like Jingdalai.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
And then back in around when they rebuilt this village, individual income was about 5,000 yuan per year. That's less than $1,000. But now it's about 27,000 yuan. So
is it
5 times of what they were making.
So as it continues to develop, is it on the rise in terms of the economy here?
就是我们现在可能我们的经济还是在上行的嘛。
对，现在上行，每年的旅客量是每年的逐步的增长，主要是靠这个地理位置。这边呢，长白山的必经之路在这儿，完了三面环水，完了这个挡风挡水这个村地理位置比较好，完了旅客每年的逐步的上升。今年为止呢，可能去年的旅客旅客量达到35万，现在是预计是40万以上了。
So the latest statistics show that last year there were 350,000 visitors. 35,000 visitors visit this village, and the projection is going to reach over 40,000 this year. And this is a main pathway for the long wide mountain Changbai Mountain, which is a very big attraction here in Jilin province. And this village is only 150 kilometers away. It's only 2 hours drive. Yeah.
And now is the time for people to come, right? Because I know one of our bosses here on the trip, he's from this area, talks about how that particular mountain, I mean, the colors of the leaves change, and it's really beautiful, so it attracts people. Plus, they also do homestays here, right?
Yeah,
so you come through, I mean, you can make your kimchi, you can make your rice cakes, you can try on clothing, and then you also get to have an authentic homestay here as well, which is really, it's like a it's like a supersized, experience of an Airbnb.
Yeah, definitely.
In a way.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, well, 谢谢.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
And so we're going to have much more from this very village. We're very excited to be here. I am still stuffed from that amazing lunch we had.
Yes.
Full of Korean cuisine.
And we just tried the rice cake and the kimchi.
We did. Yeah. I'm still feeling that spice, by the way. I am.
But it's tasty, right?
It was really good. All right, that does it for us here. I'm Erica Pizzi alongside Xu Chen. We've got much more. Stay tuned.
In 70 years, China has undergone unprecedented transformation. From its old industrial base in the northeast to its new manufacturing powerhouse in the southeast and to its emerging southwest. CGTN offers you a panoramic view of contemporary China. Our crews will travel along 3 different routes and come to you live from dozens of locations and free mobile studios. Join us for an all-inclusive look at China on our TV channel and digital platforms, September the 9th to the 20th. It is New China, then and now, in celebration of the 70th anniversary of the People's Republic of China, only on CGTN.